Hi class, you've now made it to the last video for the synthesis essay assignment. By this point, you should have your introduction done, your analysis is Article A, Article B done, your synthesis paragraph, and now you've reached the conclusion. So, what we're going to talk about is how to write that section, particularly thinking about your audience, the industry, and how you can present a proposal and some solutions to your problems. In the back here, you see Louis. He's been helping me out all day. Hopefully you're not falling asleep like he is, but let's get into the assignment, and then this will be the last part of your work. So, particularly what you want to think about is your audience, right? This last part is all about trying to persuade your audience to take certain steps or solutions to solve the issue at hand. So on a separate sheet of paper, you want to write down answers to these questions and figure out which one do you like best to write your topic sentence. So what does your industry need to realize and why? Think about everything you've read. What does your industry now need to recognize? What do they need to start thinking about? What do you want to share with them? The other question, how does your industry need to shift its operations and why? So what should they start thinking about? Maybe their supply chain needs to change, the materials they use, the certain employees they hire. What should be done there? Explain why. Or what old patterns of thinking need to change in your industry and why? So what did they do before that now needs to change? Remember when you did reflections and your synthesis part, you were having this kind of thought process too. What should you change? What should you start thinking about as well? So you can answer any of those three questions and see which one you like best for your topic sentence. That'll help you be able to write that first section of the paragraph, right? So here's a sample. Let's take a look at that. The MLS must recognize that their stadiums impact our environment in different ways. Implementing one climate change solution like using solar panels will not solve the overall problem. So particularly, here's what I wanted to tell them, right? We can't just use one solution like solar panels and call it a day. Rather, we need to think of various solutions we can utilize at our stadiums, right? So that's what I wanted my realization to be for my industry. Now, moving back into the PowerPoint, you can get to the middle, right? This is the part where you actually bring up the solutions. What are the answers? What have you gained from all that research? What do you want them to do? And you can break that down into option 1 or option 2. You can choose whichever one you like. Option 1, you talk about different solutions. So we need to do solution X and solution Y, and then explain why these solutions would work, right? So remember, you got to support that argument. Know why those solutions are the best ones. Option 2, talk about steps. So maybe you want to do something that's sequential. So first do X, next do Y. Why is this sequence needed? Why do we need to take these steps in order? You got to support your argument for that too. Okay, let's take a look at a sample. Here's where I start. Therefore, based on my research, I recommend. So you'll see that I'm speaking directly to my audience, which you should all do as well. And also these signposts here tell the reader that we're now switching to the recommendations part. I recommend that the MLS teams analyze their stadium's operations and implement various climate change actions to reduce their overall environmental impact, right? So here's the first solution. We got to look at a well-rounded solution. Like I say here, we can't just use solar panels, but we got to use different kinds of solutions, right? So solar energy and rainwater can be used to power and operate a stadium, while zero waste programs can further reduce a team's greenhouse gas emissions, right? Okay, so taking this from Article 1 about the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and then taking this from Article 2, we need to bring, let's say, 2 or 3 of those ideas and bring them into one giant solution, right? So we got to do various things to take care of our climate footprint that we're having. Then you'll see I put a signpost. Additionally, so adding on to what I'm saying, MLS teams need to educate their fans, staff, and local communities about climate change and sustainability practices so everyone understands why and how these measures are being employed in the stadium. Now, this second one comes directly from the second article that I read. It noted that you have to educate the public and your staff to understand why these sustainability practices matter for them to do it, because if they don't know why they're being implemented, then they won't really be much engaged or invested in it, right? So this is my second part. So here's solution 1, solution 2. And if you look back at the thesis, right, just like I promised, solution 1, use natural resources and biodegradable products more efficiently. 2, educating local communities and teams about the important sustainability programs, right? So I've noted, and I'm going back to my roadmap, and you'll see the roadmap that I led is what I state here in the solution, right? In the conclusion, my solutions note 1 and 2. So I've written that down for the audience. Okay, the last part, the closing statement. What's the overall impact your solution is going to have on the industry and the climate crisis? Remember, this is your last chance to speak to the audience. You want to have a nice way to end it, give them one last thing to think about to persuade them, bring it all home. So here's how I ended mine. These two solutions can ultimately help MLS stadiums alleviate their impact on our planet and become powerful centers for climate education and action, right? So, of course, our main goal is to alleviate our impact, and then I thought it'd be nice for the league to look at itself to say, well, we're going to be leaders in climate action and education, helping the communities out, helping the world out. So that's the takeaways that I wanted my audience to have there, right? Okay, so by that point, you should be ready to go with the conclusion. Make sure you write down those answers and then use them as an outline to write down the end part of that. You did it, you've done it, you finished. If not, re-watch the videos. If you have any questions, of course, write some comments down. I'll try to answer as many as possible. You can also email me any kind of questions you have. But that's it. You've made it to the conclusion. Good luck. I'm excited to read your work. So I'll see y'all maybe in another video or maybe next semester. So take it easy.